Hello, friends. If you are currently receiving Social Security, or if you are planning to claim in the next few years, I need you to stop what you are doing and watch this until the very end. Because in the last 48 hours, financial news outlets across the country started reporting that your Social Security raise for 2027 is going to be bigger than expected. And most people heard that headline and felt relieved. They shouldn't have. Here's what nobody is telling you in those headlines. The raise being announced is real. The number looks good. But buried underneath that announcement are three separate mechanisms, already active, already in law, that are quietly designed to take that raise right back out of your check before you ever see it in your bank account. And this is not speculation. These are not opinions. Every single dollar amount I'm going to give you today comes directly from the Congressional Budget Office, the Social Security Administration, and legislation that was signed into law. Most seniors have no idea any of this exists, not because they weren't paying attention, because nobody explained it to them. I'm going to change that right now. I'll break down all three of these check reduction mechanisms in a moment, but I'm saving the most dangerous one for last, because it's the one affecting nearly 700,000 seniors right now, and it can reduce your check by 50% with zero warning. Let's start with what the headlines got right. The 2027 Social Security cost of living adjustment is currently being forecast at between 3.9% and 4.2%. That is higher than this year's 2.8% raise. For the average retired worker collecting $2,081 per month, a 3.9% increase would add approximately $81 per month to your check starting in January 2027. That sounds like good news, and it would be if this money were coming to you free and clear. But here is the critical fact those headlines did not mention. The surge in the COLA forecast is being driven primarily by the Iran war, which has effectively driven oil prices up 50% since late February, and the same inflation causing this higher COLA is also hitting seniors hardest on groceries, heating oil, and healthcare. Costs of refilling residential heating oil have increased 54.3%. Tomatoes are up 39.7%. Coffee is up 18.5%. Fresh vegetables are up 11.5%. So the raise your 2027 COLA gives you in January will largely go right back out to cover the higher grocery and energy bills you'll already be paying between now and then. That is the first deception in these headlines. The raise is real, but inflation that created it already spent most of it before January. That is problem one. Now let's talk about what happened with this year's raise, because it is the exact preview of what is about to happen to your 2027 raise. And most people never connected these dots. In January 2026, your Social Security benefits went up 2.8%. That translated to approximately $56 per month for the average retiree. But Medicare Part B premiums climbed from $185 to $202.90, a 9.7% increase, the second highest increase in the program's history. Since Medicare Part B premiums are automatically deducted from your Social Security payment, that increase had the effect of partially offsetting the COLA by $17.90 per month. So your $56 raise was actually a $38 raise after Medicare took its cut. And now, here is where it gets worse for 2027. Because the One Big Beautiful Bill Act triggers automatic spending cuts under budget rules, Medicare payments are projected to be reduced by 4%. Resulting in a $500 billion cut over 8 years beginning in 2026. These cuts would be applied to provider reimbursements, payments made to doctors, hospitals, and health plans. And while enrollees might not be directly impacted, the ripple effect could result in reduced access to care. Many providers already cite low Medicare payment rates as a barrier to accepting new patients. Even lower reimbursements could push more of them, especially specialists and rural hospitals, to opt out of Medicare entirely. That means your 2027 raise, currently forecast at $81 per month, will once again be partially consumed by Medicare premium adjustments that the government sets after your raise is already announced. Analysts are already warning that increases in Medicare Part B premiums can eat into the net Social Security raise. Many older Americans saw a significant portion of their 2026 raise offset by rising healthcare costs. And this trend is expected to continue for 2027. That is problem 2. And it has been happening year after year. Your gross raise and your net raise are two completely different numbers. And nobody sends you a letter explaining the difference. Now we get to the one I told you to wait for. And this is the one that concerns me most for people watching this right now. For example, a 71-year-old retiree might receive a Social Security letter in 2026 informing them they were overpaid $14,000 between 2022 and 2024 as a result of a Social Security calculation error. This letter comes with a demand: pay us back in 30 days. If you don't respond in 30 days, the SSA begins withholding your benefits. Here is the current policy as it stands today. The current rule is a 50% clawback rate. That means if you received an overpayment over the past several years, the government can withhold up to 50% of your future monthly benefits until it has recovered the full amount of the overpayment. The Social Security Administration now defaults to withholding 50% of retirement benefits for new overpayments, affecting an estimated 669,903 beneficiaries with existing withholds, nearly 700,000 seniors. Right now, today, many of them sitting at home wondering why their check was cut in half, and the overpayment was often not even their fault. Overpayments are often the result of mistakes by the agency. One Georgia resident became homeless after receiving a $58,000 demand letter from the SSA, which led to her entire Social Security check being withheld. Now here is what you need to know to protect yourself if this letter ever arrives at your door. Step 1. Do not ignore the letter. You have 60 days to respond before withholding begins. Step 2. You have the right to request reconsideration, file a waiver request citing financial hardship, or negotiate a repayment plan to avoid benefits withholding. Step 3. Request SSA Form 632, the request for waiver of overpayment recovery. To qualify, 2 conditions must be met. First, the overpayment was not your fault. Second, repaying it would cause financial hardship. If both apply, the SSA can legally waive the entire amount. You never have to pay it back. Step 4. If your waiver is denied, you can file Form SSA-561 to appeal. Do not give up after the first denial. Write down this phone number, 1-800-772-1213. That is the direct Social Security Administration line. Call them before the 60-day deadline. Every day you wait costs you options. Here is what I want you to understand before you close this video. The 2027 Social Security raise is real. The number they are quoting in those headlines is real. But the check that lands in your account in January 2027 will be smaller than that number, because Medicare premiums will take their cut, inflation already spent part of it, and if you have an overpayment notice pending, the SSA can take up to half before it even arrives. None of this is illegal. None of this is a surprise to the people running these programs. What is a surprise is that nobody sat down and explained it to you in plain English. That is why this channel exists. If someone in your family is on Social Security or about to claim, share this video with them right now. This information could protect hundreds of dollars every single month. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next change to your benefits will not come with a warning, but it will come.